In this week's episode, we search for the ideal vehicle for a family within a budget of 150,000 Rand.
Bakkies from Mazda, Isuzu, Mitsubishi and GWM compete against each other.
And we advise a viewer considering an engine remap for his Toyota Fortuner.
Hello and welcome to Buyer's Guide. We'll be tackling a fresh batch of your vehicle-related questions and queries once again. And here to help us this week, a gift Makoti from Gifted Media and Mumble from Mumble Repairs. Welcome back, gentlemen. Nice to have you back in studio.
No, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for joining us.
Now remember, if you like the panel's advice, you can send us an email to buyersguide@ignitiontv.co.za, or you can just pop us a DM on Instagram @ignitiontv. And please give us as much information as possible, including a nice pretty picture of yourself. Now we're going to kick off things with a question from Ashley, a family man with 2 school-aged children. He needs a second car to complement his wife's Seat Ibiza and his Mazda MX-5. He wants to change that as well. It's a bit small when you've got 2 kids. He's got a budget of 150,000 Rand. He's considering the Honda Accord or the Lexus IS250. He values comfort, reliability and performance. And he doesn't want any German cars. So
He's a clever guy.
Yeah.
Ashley's a very clever man.
2 older sedans, Honda Accord, IS250.
They're still bigger than the Mazda.
Yeah.
And
And
both of them.
the Seat, yeah.
Yeah, and the Seat also.
And both together, they're still bigger than both of them.
Exactly. And but I must also mention that these are very unpopular options, sedans.
Yes.
But there's tons of them on the road that still drive lots of mileage.
They're nearly bulletproof, eh?
Yeah, especially the Accord. I'm seeing the Accord almost everywhere. Obviously, the exterior parts, it depends on the owner and all of that. But I still say these are great options, bigger than the Mazda. And if kids are starting school, they're going to be in school for
These
the
are
next 12
perfect
years.
options.
These are perfect options for daily commuting.
Yeah. So in terms of the Honda or the Lexus, Mambo, which one would you go for?
I'd say both of them are good options for him, but he wants comfort, reliability. Honda, good way and a good option for him. But the Lexus as well is also a good option as well. It's got comfort and reliability and adequate performance. So
You know, the car that I would definitely put him in is a Honda Accord, but you know which one? The station wagon. What
Well,
is
if you
it
can
called?
find one, yeah.
If you can find one, that's
Yeah, that's the
that's my
next
next point.
So his budget's
you've got 2 school-going
150,
kids.
so it's not big. The IS250, like we all said, it's a good reliable car, but it's a 6-cylinder and it's quite heavy on juice.
Yeah.
The other problem with the IS250 is parts availability. You can't walk into your local spare shop to get parts for them. They
Yeah.
are a bit scarce for the spares.
Very expensive if you go
Where
to
the
Toyota.
Honda is the opposite. It's got a 4-cylinder engine that fits in tons of stuff, and it's reliable, it's relatively fuel efficient, and it's spacious, comfortable. It'll do the budget. But there was one I'd throw in there as well. For 150,000 Rand, you could find yourself a something like a 2010 to 2012 Honda CR-V with the same engine and mechanicals as the Accord's got. Because you've got 2 little kiddies, it'll give you more space.
For 150, Adam,
Yeah.
on the CR-V.
Yeah, on the CR-Vs, you'll pick up the 2010 to 2012, or it's like 2006 to 2012, that era. I actually had one of those.
Very nice
Remember that one I had?
Yes.
For like 12 years. My wife
Very
drove around.
nice vehicles.
I actually never wanted to sell the car because I think the biggest problem I had on it, I had to replace a battery. You know, it's so good. That I think would actually serve your purpose better because you'd have more space. You're going to get the comfort with it. They're very comfortable.
And you
You're
got
going to
2
get
kids starting school.
You're going to get the same mechanicals as you would in an Accord. You can get a 2-litre and a 2.4 in them. So have a look at that. But if you're a sedan man, and some people like sedans, then the Accord, I think, is the best option here for you.
But look, if you're going to put him in an Accord, are you going to put him in a CR-V?
Yeah,
you
in a
should also
CR-V.
look at a Kia Sportage, Hyundai Tucson,
Yeah.
any of the SUVs out there that will fall in his 150,000 Rand budget.
yeah.
But I must say, if you're looking at 150 budget and you want something reliable and capable, the CR-V will fit right in there.
CR-V is an option if you want an SUV. And that goes for anybody with a budget of 150. There's lots of them around. And also the nice thing about those CR-Vs, they're not driven by guys who would buy a GTI. They're driven by family people.
Don't mention GTI. Look at Mambo getting all excited. Mambo getting all excited there when you say GTI.
Yeah, so, you know, they never really get hammered. They generally get looked after. Honda, the sort of people that buy Hondas, sort of, you don't really see
They're Adams age.
bucket Hondas.
Sort of
you know
people
what I mean?
that, the sort of
Do when
people
they
buy
like- when
Hondas,
they get
Adams
old, but
age.
generally, and you see, and it's one car you see on the road that you see old. You know, you see like you know, from the 80s and the 90s, what are the two cars you see a lot of? Toyotas and Hondas that are still going. So it's a great option to look at.
Okay, so now that you told everybody how old you are,
Yes.
our next viewer is Pizzo. He's looking for a reliable, fuel-efficient crossover with a budget of 200,000 Rand to suit his family and travel needs. He frequently travels from Pretoria to the Free State quarterly and commutes 15 kilometers daily to work. He's open to options from Toyota, Renault, or Subaru. Okay, I know which one you should write off immediately. Which vehicles offer the best balance of reliability and fuel efficiency within his budget? GIF?
Not the RAV4 for now, because I saw even online a lot of RAV4s that are in good mileage. They're not going to cut it with 200,000 Rand, unless he doesn't mind a little bit of an older one with a bit of mileage on it.
You have to look at about a 2010 model for a RAV4.
Perhaps, yes. And so the Toyota CHR, is this the Lamborghini shaped one? That one? The
Lamborghini shaped thing. You mean that ugly shaped car, yeah.
Yeah, that one. So that is very stylish and very modern. If he's looking into the modern side, those are the two options I looked at. But I think RAV4, somewhere from 2010, if you look, as you mentioned, and if the mileage is still great and drives well, I think that's a great option.
Remember?
Yeah. I'd say the RAV4 as well. It's a reasonable, it's a good one for his budget. But also 200,000 is a lot of money. I would just prefer to deposit that money, get something newer, get the newer RAV4, and his installment is not going to be that much if he puts such a thick.
Mambo, I need to remind you, not everybody is earning 5 bar a month like you are.
Yeah, look at this guy.
You know, here again, Adam, your idea of the CRV slots right in.
I was going to say, just like our previous question,
Yeah.
you can get the next generation of CRV. You can find them around that 200,000 Rand mark.
2014, 2015 probably.
There is nothing in that segment that will give you the space and reliability as a CRV.
Yeah.
The RAV4 is excellent, but it's a bit smaller than a CRV. So the CRV, you will get extra space. And the great thing about CRVs as well is that they're not on the theft list. So you can park it wherever you like. It's not going to get stolen. And it's a car that you can keep for 20 years, you know.
And let's go back to the Korean vehicles then as well. You can look at a Sportage or a Tucson.
Also something.
Also something to look at. At 200K, you pick something really nice.
Yeah.
The Renault and the Subaru on your list here, I would not look at because very expensive to maintain.
Yep.
Poor resale values and parts availability, especially on the Subaru. It's very difficult to get parts because you're only stuck with the dealers. The Renault Capture is tiny, so I wouldn't look at that. The CHI on your list, I think it's a great vehicle, but I don't think it has the space. If you've got a wife and 2 kids, they're going to be squished in there, and the boot area is not large. The CRV and the RAV4, I think are your 2 options. Have a look for those 2. Go onto any of these internet sites and just search for those 2 vehicles, and then go and drive them and make a decision on that. Either way, you're not going to go wrong.
And just please go drive the Korean options as well.
Yeah, as
Yeah,
Segi says.
Go drive the Korean options as well. You might just find that you like the ride a little bit better.
Yeah. Okay, stay tuned because after the break, Bakkies from Mazda, Isuzu, Mitsubishi, and GWM, they go head to head.
And is the BMW M2 the perfect first car for a 20-year-old? You're watching Buyer's Guide, and if you've just joined us, welcome to this week's show. 50-year-old Philly currently drives a 2020 Mazda 3 sedan with 86,000 kilometers and a full Mazda service history, but wants to trade it in for a diesel double-cab bakkie with a budget of 400,000 Rand. Preferred options include the Mazda BT50, Isuzu D-Max, Mitsubishi Triton, and the GWM P Series. Gift, I'm glad he's put in the P Series.
Sure.
We regularly forget about that, but what's your opinion on that?
I think it's also important to note he left out Toyota and the Ford.
Yes.
I think...
Very important. Ford definitely left out.
Well, for obvious reasons, he left out both cars. No comment on the lot of it. I think he should go for the Isuzu D-Max. However, the GWM P Series is also a great option because it comes with tons of features, and if he's got a 400,000 Rand budget, he can get a very low mileage.
Close to new.
100%.
Yes.
There's plenty of dealers around the country from...
And it's huge.
and it's big.
It's huge.
Yeah.
Looks stylish.
You can load the Ford in the back of that P Series.
Plenty of aftermarket accessories to make it look much nicer if he finds one that's not so nice. So I think either the D-Max or the P Series, but P Series would be a great option.
Would work for you.
Yeah.
If you had this budget, would you look at a P Series?
I would, yeah.
Number.
I wouldn't.
That's fine. I mean,
That's fine, yeah.
Well, we-
Why? Why wouldn't you?
So when you talk about the P series, I think it's great value for money. You get a lot of features, it's stylish, it's got a lot of stuff. But I would go for more reliability and less fancy, which is the Isuzu D-Max.
Have you found any reliability issues with the P series? Are you aware of any?
I'm not aware of any, it's just that the product is not tried and tested. So if I'm
It's been
giving
here a while,
somebody,
eh?
Yeah,
if I'm giving
close to
somebody
10 years.
close to 10 years,
Yeah.
I haven't seen one come into my workshop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe consider
Good
it.
sign.
Yeah.
Maybe
Look,
you
I
should
think
consider.
P series is an option because you'd most probably get that with a warranty. So you'd buy most probably a 1 or 2 year old P series in your budget of 400,000 rand. You could even, in terms of, you mentioned Chinese vehicles like the GWM P series, you could also go JAC,
Yeah.
brand new out the box. You know, it's actually not bad for the sort of.
And it's a
400,000.
nice looking vehicle, the JAC.
Yeah.
Very nice looking vehicle.
But I would, looking online, 400,000 rand also buys you a nice double cab Mitsubishi Triton, which if you're going to intend to keep the vehicle for a long time and you want really proven reliability,
yep.
and you're not too fussed about all the gadgetry and stuff that go in a vehicle, the Triton is a super option to have a look at. I prefer it to the D-Max. The D-Max is also good because the D-Max to me is, you give it to some oak as a driver to drive in courier services. You know what I mean? It's a bit more.
It's a bakkie.
It's a bakkie,
Yeah.
agricultural, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, you're coming out of a sedan, you want to get into something that's a little bit more comfortable. So the two best, I think, Mazda BT50 is a Ford Ranger, it's the same thing. And you're going to get the older generation, it's going to be out of warranty. So GWM P Series definitely worthwhile to go and have a look at. You're going to get more comfort and more features in it. If you're not a fan of it, you're a bit dodgy with it, Mitsubishi Triton, I think, is a really, really good option there. Okay, we're going to move on. In Kobe, a 20-year-old Forex trader from KwaZulu-Natal is making so much money, he's considering a 2017 BMW M2 with a manual transmission as his first car. The vehicle has only done 86,000 k's on the clock and it's priced at 630,000 Rand. He's seeking options on whether this would be suitable for his first car. If not, he would appreciate recommendation for similar alternatives. Not much similar alternatives. He's 20 years old, M2, manual. Is he going to get to 21 years old?
M2 is a very fast car. It's a performance vehicle. I would not recommend it since it's his first car. A manual too as well. He's going to be doing a lot of pulls with the vehicle. He also said
it's called spinning.
spinning. Yeah, he's also a
Spinning.
forex trader. I don't know if you'll know forex traders. They tend to be flashy sometimes. So he'll be doing a lot of donuts. I think he'll be very good friends with his mechanic, and he'll be changing his clutch more often than he should be.
Gift, I want to ask you something.
Yes.
It's an M2. It's a niche market car. Is that the right number, 630K? Or is that just sounds to me like a little bit cheap for an M2, which is a collector's item.
And
It
a manual transmission, which is
Yeah.
very sought after.
Yeah, so firstly, kudos to him for writing into the show, because if with this sort of thinking and this age and as a first car, there's a lot of mistakes you can do here, including even if he was looking at a much more slower car or much more normal compact car. You need advice here. Unfortunately, you'll definitely have to listen to other people. But as Mambo mentioned, there's a trend around forex traders. He's probably inspired by some of the people that are doing well and buying Porsches and all of this. And BMW manual at this age as your first car, not so great, because one, we don't even know if he can drive because he doesn't have a car, because this is his first car. And if he's going to be trying to pull and make donuts and look flashy in a manual M2 as your first car, I don't think this is a great idea, because he's not even used to power. He's not used to power. If he looks at something just a little bit north of 100 kilowatts, just to get used to power, as he is a BMW fanatic, he can look at a BMW 120D, drive it for a year or so. It's got enough power, enough torque, 400 Newton meters. It's going to be faster than the Polos on the road and all of that. And then he can, maybe 5-6 years now later, he'll be making a huge decision by buying a BMW right now. I don't think it's a good
He'll be
car
the
for him.
coolest guy in town for a week.
100%.
And then it's like, Ish, where's your car? No, it's at the panel beater again. Oh, no, it's at the suspension place because I hit the curb with doing donuts.
100%. I wouldn't even say
I know
140.
what I was like when I was 20.
Guys, this is the Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah.
He wants a M2.
Nah,
He's been watching those movies, you know?
He must come down.
I mean, I know when I was 20 and I drove a Ford Escort, you guys don't even know what that is.
I know.
Yeah.
I drove that thing like a lunatic and when you were 20 and you were 20, I'm not even going to ask this chap.
Yeah, no.
Because we all know what we drove like at 20. We don't even know what death is.
We're immortal, man.
Yeah, you can't, what the hell. But cars nowadays have got so much faster. And I don't want to say more dangerous because they are safer, but they are dangerous in the hands of people who are unable to drive them.
Yeah.
If you want to go ahead and buy this car, good for you, go ahead and buy that. But before you get into it, go to a BMW advanced driving course. Go learn how to drive properly before you even buy the car. And then decide, do I have the skills for this car?
And before,
And then take Gift's advice and go buy yourself a 120D or a 320D, save yourself a bit of money, invest it in Forex while it's making you money and you're learning to drive properly, then you can go and buy your brand new M2 or M3 in a couple of years' time when you've got plenty moolah and we can come to you for a loan.
before any of that, if he still wants this car,
Yes.
he should take someone or fare with these performance cars to go inspect the vehicle, no matter what it costs him. Take someone who can go look at the car
Maybe it's at a BMW dealership. You never know.
and say, hey, this is not right. That this car was in an accident. This thing is not sitting level. Suspension's a problem. Take it for a drive. Let the guy take it for a drive. Someone who knows about these things. Take it for a drive and feel the power. And then let him know, okay, you know what? It's okay. It's worth 630. But for me, that number is wrong.
Yeah,
That manual was a giveaway.
there are a couple of warning signs here, and the big warning sign is that it's a 20-year-old's first car.
Yeah.
You want to learn to drive properly. And I know, like most South Africans, I can drive, I'm clever.
Yeah. Adam's still learning.
Yeah, I'm still learning how to drive, and I've been driving for 3 weeks now.
We'll be taking a short break, but when we return, we advise the viewer considering an engine remap for his Toyota Fortuner.
And we examine an Opel Corsa that's got a loss of power. Welcome back to Buyer's Guide. Jan currently drives a 2021 Toyota Fortuner and he's considering a stage 1 engine remap. The remap would increase the power from 150 to 163 kilowatts and a torque would go from 5 to 650 Newton meters. That's 500. Jan is seeking advice on whether this modification is advisable and it could be potential cause any other issues like turbo issues. He mentions the extra power is needed for overtaking vehicles on the open road with his average driving speed of, don't tell anybody, he drives at 140. Mamba, what do you think about these chip tuning?
All right, so most of my clients that drive these Fortuners as well normally do send them for tuning for that little bit of extra power. I personally own a Toyota 2.8 Fortuner, and when you are just trying to overtake, it's like it's saying, on your marks, get ready.
You want to go.
But you're already trying to overtake. So it does take a little bit of time for it to build up speed. But I always advise my clients that if you are going to be doing upgrades on your car, you should also consider upgrading components on your engine as well, because your engine is manufactured to take this amount of power. So you're going to start having endless issues. So if you're going to be doing your stage 1 tune on your vehicle, I would say also seek a professional advice on what else you should upgrade on your engine.
I would suggest to him, first learn to land before you can fly. So you upgrade your brakes first, no matter how little power you're putting in, because those brakes on that vehicle currently are designed to handle what's the car's giving out. Everybody thinks, I got stage 3, I got stage 4. So how are you stopping, dude? How about stopping?
Also need to stop at some
Yes,
point.
you need to stop it sometime.
Look,
I understand it's not too much of power.
it's not a big upgrade.
It's not a
It's not like
huge
you're saying
upgrade.
now, it was 150, it's now
220 or whatever.
2 kilowatts.
But for me, I like to be able to stop.
Yeah. So just take Mamba's advice, which is good advice. Is
Yes.
chat to the people who do the chip tuning.
Upgrades, yes.
You will have a bit of improvement in performance. Then the thing with this, a lot of the chip tuning guys, before you do this, may have a vehicle that they've done or one of their own vehicles that have got this, and you can go and drive it and see how it feels. Because sometimes you do these things, it's like, it's not much of a difference. You know, spend all this money and it made no difference.
Yeah.
But most of these guys who do chip tuning do all the other upgrades on the vehicle,
Yeah.
So
themselves.
like you suggested.
There are brake upgrades and things like that that you can do. I think by doing this, it's not going to make much difference because I think the GR is also around that sort of figure, that a little
A
bit more
GR. He
performance.
should just go buy himself a GR then.
Yeah, but he's got one. He's had it for a couple of years, so I don't see a problem with it. My only problem with the chip tuning is when guys start to take it from 150 to 200 kilowatts. There's a 30% increase in power and a lot more torque, because then you have problems with drivetrain issues, gearboxes, prop shafts, brakes.
My problem with this, Adam, is if the manufacturer wanted you to be able to drive it at 163 kilowatts, they would have done it already.
Well, they built
would have upgraded. They build it to last.
They build it for
it takes the reliability factor away from the engine.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it will definitely do that, but that's what I think will happen.
Will it cause turbo potential issues? No, I don't think it will at all. I don't think they're generally very reliable. Just, again, it's all about maintenance, service and maintenance. Look after your car. Toyotas every 10,000 Ks, have it serviced, and you shouldn't have an issue. Okay.
And finally, Samilo is seeking advice regarding the A14 XER engine in his 2010 partially rebuilt Opel Corsa D. He has noticed a loss of its signature pops and bangs and a decline in immediate overtaking power. He would like to understand the potential causes of the power loss and how to restore the engine to its original performance.
He's partially rebuilt.
I don't understand that.
Thing without a roof. Gift.
Well, don't know much about these Opel Corsa engines. However, he also is not clear about partially rebuilding. What does that mean? Was it
the engine rebuild? Was it the body rebuild?
Or was he told? And because he also continues to say he was suspecting turbocharger issues, then realized it's
a naturally aspirated engine.
Okay,
yes.
so where are we? So it's a bit.
So he's probably not doing.
Yeah, he probably got an advice from a mechanic from a phone call who didn't even examine the vehicle.
Yeah.
But anybody who knows the 1.4 engine knows they're all normally aspirated.
100%.
Mamba, you got any advice here?
Yeah, well, since he does say that he's done some work on the engine, I would say maybe look at the timing. Maybe the timing could be off if he did do the timing on the vehicle. But also on the courses, I'd also advise him to maybe check his mass airflow sensor. If that thing is dirty even a little bit, you will experience a very bad loss of power. Also, using the incorrect spark plugs on those cars can also cause you to have a very rapid decline in your power. So looking at those components, I think you should find the culprit.
What I found on those vehicles is, you're quite right, is the timing. What happens is that the gear on the crankshaft moves.
The keyway.
The keyway wears. The car starts and runs. You just feel a slight loss of power, but it feels as though it runs normal.
We don't even say that the timing is off.
And when you set the timing, in a lot of instances, yes, you can see the marks are lined up. But what happens is that the gear at the bottom is moved. The keyway wears away. And it can be an expensive repair if it's on the crank side of the things.
It's quite a common problem to have timing chain issues with these particular motors. The timing chains themselves stretch. So even if you looked at it, it would look fine. But it's got to have be set up with a special timing tool. I've had many cases where you find mechanics will replace the timing chain. They don't have the specific tools that guess it. It only needs to be 3 or 4 degrees out and you'll have a problem. So that is the one thing that you've got to start with. The other common problem on these cars is on the valve cover. You've got a PCV valve which has got a little rubber valve in it, and it splits and it sucks air there, and then it upsets the whole fuel trim system of this car. So you'll get erratic idling, you'll lose power, it won't run so well. So those are the two things I would say have a look at. Mamba mentioned it, Segi mentioned it. Timing is a big problem with those, and I've just thrown in that other one. If the valve is split, you have to buy a whole new valve cover, tapper cover for it. But this is kind of work that needs to get checked by professionals, people who have the correct tools and the diagnostic equipment to actually check it and make sure that everything's okay. So I would suggest, I'll give Mamba a ring. Take your car around there, give him a headache. Let him fix it for you. I'm sure he'll be able to sort it out for you. And unfortunately, just like that, we've come to the end of another episode. Give Mamba, thanks once again for all your great input. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thanks for your helpful advice. Until next time, remember to keep left, pass right, and please keep it safe on the roads.